So last year I made some predictions about who I thought was going to be some of the breakthrough athletes of the year, and it's that time of year again. So as the new season approaches, I'm going to make some predictions as to who are some of the athletes who didn't finish in the top 10 last season, who I think are going to be top 10 contenders. How's it going, biathlon fans? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian Halligan, and this is my YouTube channel about biathlon. All right, let's go. Now on the women's side, there's gonna be a huge shakeup. There were retirements, there were babies, there were recent health issues that are gonna be keeping some of the top athletes off the tracks this year. And then of course, there's no Eastern European nations competing this season. So that's gonna leave the women's field wide open. So my first prediction for breakthrough athlete of the year is going to be Sweden's Stina Nilsson. Now I think everyone is excited to see how Stina's gonna do. This will be her third year doing biathlon, and probably going to be her first full season on the World Cup. Last season, she finished pretty well and even got a bid to go to the Olympics. Unfortunately, she didn't get to race considering how strong her team is. Now, the thing about Stina is she's been skiing top 10 ski time. Now, I don't think anyone's really surprised by that considering she's coming from cross-country skiing, but she's shown that she can be a factor on the course. She just has to bump that shooting percentage up. Last year, she raised it to about 73%, but if she can get that up to 80 or get that to the World Cup standard at 85%, she is going to be a top 5 contender every race. Now, I'm coming up on 2,000 subscribers, so if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. My next pick for breakthrough woman is going to be Norway's Ragnhild Femsteinevik. Ragnhild was second overall in the IBU Cup last season and consistently posted top 10 ski times throughout the entire season. She was by far the fastest skier on the IBU Cup last year. Now, last year on the IBU Cup, she was shooting 78%. So if she can bump that up to 83% or 85%, she's going to have a good time on the World Cup. She did earn a few World Cup starts last year towards the end of the season, and she did place in the top 30s, but she did have a top 5 ski time, which is very promising for the young Norwegian athlete. And then consider this, with Tiro Eckhoff very recently decided to take some time off the World Cup, and even Marta Olsbu-Roysland is up in the air as to whether or not she is going to start the World Cup this season. The Norwegian field is going to be wide open. So expect Femsteinevik to take one of those spots and start the season on the World Cup. If she starts off well, it'll be very hard to replace her if Roysland and Eckhoff come back to the scene. So if Femsteinevik can bump that shooting up and continue the good skiing that we saw last year in the IBU Cup, expect her to be a top 10 contender this season. My next prediction for breakthrough women of the year is going to be VAnessa Voigt from Germany. Now, VAnessa was the IBU Cup winner 2 years ago and just completed her first full season on the World Cup and had a pretty dang good season. She finished 13th overall and was the second best German woman on their team. Now, Voigt's bread and butter is her shooting percentage. She's shooting close to 90%, which is well above the World Cup average, and makes her one of the best shooters on the World Cup circuit. Now, she was never the fastest skier on the IBU Cup, but she could consistently post top 10 ski times, and we've even seen her do this on the World Cup as well. So now that VAnessa has a little bit more experience on the World Cup at the highest level, she has that confidence of being one of the best ones on the team. If we can keep seeing that consistency that she showed last year, then expect VAnessa Voigt to be a top 10 contender this season. My next prediction for breakthrough woman of the year is going to go to Linn Persson from Sweden. Now, Linn's been on the World Cup for a few seasons now, and she's slowly but surely been climbing her way up the overall rankings, last year finishing 19th overall. Despite that top 20 finish, her highlight of the season was coming in 5th in the Beijing Pursuit. Now, here's something interesting about Linn's results. In recent years, her World Cup average placing has been 21st, and that includes a 60th place and a 53rd place in the lead up to the Olympics. So even with those very poor results, she still has been averaging close to 20th place. Linn just needs to cut out those few bad results, become a little bit more consistent, and she could be a top 10 contender this season. All right, my final pick for Breakthrough Woman of the Year is going to be Paulina Fialkova from Slovakia. Paulina showed some promise a few seasons ago with a few top 10 results, and then her shooting took a turn for the worse. Last year, her shooting was back to normal, and her skiing has been continually improving year over year. So if she can get back to her career high on the shooting range and continue to have good ski results, Paulina could be a consistent top 15, even top 10 contender. And consider this, last season in the first trimester, Paulina's shooting percentage was 70%. 50%, and that was earning her results in the 40s and 50s. But then suddenly she bumped up her shooting percentage to 85% to finish out the season, and she was placing around 10th place every single race, including a 3rd place in the Oslo Pursuit to finish out the year. So if Paulina can bump up her shooting consistency, expect to see her around the top 10 more frequently. All right, folks, those are my predictions for the breakthrough women of the season. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'm coming up on 2,000 subscribers. Last year, my goal was to break 1,000 subscribers before the beginning of the season, and this year it's 2,000 subscribers. So if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. But until next time, we'll see ya.